Welcome back to the Grim Tapes. Today we re-diving into a truly fascinating story, one I first heard on Mr. Ballina's channel a while back, and I swear it's been living rent-free in my head ever since. Easily one of my favorite true stories of all time. But before we dive in, don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop a comment to help this small channel keep growing. Every bit of support helps feed the algorithm beast and keeps me from turning into a cannibal for views. Alright, enough of that. Let's jump in.
Colorado Territory, winter of 1873. Gold fever doesn't care if your children are hungry. Gold fever doesn't care if the snow is 10 feet deep. Gold fever whispers, just one lucky strike, and you go home rich. That whisper called to 21 men, cold, broke, and worn thin from failed claims in Utah. They left Bingham Canyon to seek their fortune in Colorado's San Juan Mountains. Among them was James Humphrey, 44 years old, a quiet man with a thick mustache, known to write letters to his wife back home in Pennsylvania, each one ending, "If the Lord allows me, I'll see you come spring." He wasn't the only one with a family waiting. Israel Swan, 65, was prospecting for one final strike to support his children. Frank Miller had 4 younger siblings to feed. Shannon Bell owed debt back east, and George Noon, just 18, was trying to earn enough to help his sick mother. They all had something to lose. Then there was Alferd G. Packer, the guide. Packer wasn't a stranger to James Humphrey. In fact, Humphrey had personally vouched for him when the group voted whether to hire a guide. He'd known Packer during earlier mining runs in Utah. Packer talked big, claimed he'd crossed the San Juans twice, said he knew shortcuts, that he could smell snow before it fell. So when the group debated who should lead the push through the Rockies, it was Humphrey, quiet, reasonable, respected, who said, "Al's a little odd, sure, but he knows the ground. I trust him." That trust would cost him everything. February 1874, Ute Camp, Colorado. The journey had become impossible. Storms rolled in like black curtains. Horses starved. Snow fell endlessly. The group stumbled into Chief Urey's camp, half dead from exposure. The Utes welcomed them, fed them elk, and offered to let them stay the winter. Chief Urey warned, "The San Juans are not roads. They are teeth." 15 men stayed, but 6 made a different choice. They had families to feed, debts to settle, and winter be damned. They needed gold. Humphrey, Swan, Bell, Noon, Miller, and Packer packed up what was left of their meager supplies, a rifle, some flour, a skinning knife, and walked into the mountains. Weeks passed. Snow swallowed the trails. They boiled rawhide to eat. No game, no firewood, just cold and hunger. Each night, Packer said they were close. Each day, they were not. When Swan collapsed, they stopped walking. His joints had frozen. His beard was stiff with ice. Some say he died quietly in the night. Others say he didn't. But after Swan was gone, the others lived, just a little longer. April 16th, 1874, Los Pinos Indian Agency. A man appeared at the edge of the camp, thin, sunburnt, and alone. It was Alferd Packer. He said the others had left him, that he'd survived on rosebuds and snow. But people noticed things. He was wearing a fur coat that once belonged to Swan. He had James Humphrey's gold watch, the one his wife had sent him 2 winters ago. He had a hunting knife too clean for a man who'd just emerged from starvation, and he was not emaciated. He looked fed. When asked if he'd go help look for the others, Packer went silent. May 1874, Slumgullion Pass. Searchers found the bodies beneath melting snow. A horrific scene. Bell lay near the ashes of a fire, skull caved in from behind. Miller had deep cuts across his chest. Noon's and Humphrey's thighs had been stripped of flesh, their arms missing muscle. Swan, the oldest, was found last, farthest from camp, with his heart removed. No animal had done this. This was methodical butchery. August 1874, Packer's confession. He sat before General Adams and spun a story, that Swan died first. They ate him. Then Bell went mad, killed the others. Packer said he returned to find Bell boiling flesh, In fear, he shot him, but coroner reports didn't match. Bell wasn't shot. Swan was found farthest away, not first, and Packer had enough stolen possessions to suggest robbery as well. Worse, he had James Humphrey's money pouch. It still held silver dollars, coins his wife had saved for him to return home. Packer escaped jail that very night, fled into the shadows. For 9 years he vanished, until 1883, when he was found living under a false name, John Schwartza, in Cheyenne, Wyoming. The trial, 1883. The courtroom was packed. Testimonies from Chief Ore, search party leaders, and forensics were read aloud. Packer gave a second version of his story, claiming he left the group and when he returned, they were dead. Bell tried to kill him, so he struck Bell down and survived off the others' remains. The jury didn't believe it. He was convicted of manslaughter for all 5 deaths, including his former friend James Humphrey, the man who had once said, "I trust him." Packer received 40 years in prison, then the harshest sentence in Colorado history. But the story didn't end there. In 1901, public sentiment shifted. Legal advocates argued that Packer was no monster, just a desperate man forced into an impossible situation. He was released on parole after serving 18 years. He settled quietly in Littleton, Colorado, kept to himself, raised chickens. He died in 1907 at 65. Forensics later confirmed the men were not killed in a single event. They were likely killed one at a time. And the wounds were precise, planned, executed. So why did they go? Because they had families. Because they had debts. Because they believed they were following a man who would lead them home. And for James Humphrey, a friend, a fellow miner, a man who trusted Packer with his life, he never made it back to send that final letter. Only his gold watch did.
So that's it for this video. The true brutal story of Alferd Packer, the man who walked into the mountains with 5 others and walked out alone. If you were in that situation, freezing, starving, no rescue in sight, what would you do? Would you fight? Would you fold? Or would you feast? Comment below and let me know. Me, personally, I've got morals. If it came down to it, I'd either go full hunting mode or start nibbling on myself before I ever look sideways at my friends. And if you like stories like this, dark, real, unforgettable, subscribe to the Grim Tapes and like this video to help make sure I don't have to become a cannibal to pay the bills. Thanks for watching. Sleep tight.